All right, so we're going to go ahead and move on here. We do have Dusty One with us today. So Dusty One, I do thank you for joining us. And again, you are welcome anytime on this podcast. And you guys can jump in whenever you want to. For many, many weeks now, months now, I've had several people say, hey, teach me about the 450 Bushmaster. I want to learn about the 450 Bushmaster. What do I need to know about it? Dusty, why don't you just give us some comments about this round, why you like it, what rocks about it, and then I'll talk a little bit about the origin of the round just for a minute. Give us a little heads up on the 450 Bushmaster, and welcome to the show, bud.
Hi. It is an awesome round. It's very accurate. One of the reasons it's popular with me is Michigan law states for hunting white-tailed deer, you can use a pistol caliber as long as it's less than 1 1/8 inches in length and a straight-walled cartridge. A straight-walled cartridge less than 1 1/8 inches. So that makes it 450 legal. A 458 sitcom would be legal. A 500 is just a little bit too large.
50 Beowulf?
Yeah, and I think that I'd have to measure that cartridge, but I think it's too long also.
That's okay. That's based on a stretched 50 Action Express case.
Yeah,
if I'm not
50
mistaken,
AE,
so.
and it will fit in a AR-15 magazine. So
yeah,
maybe.
Now, let's be clear here. This 450 Bushmaster is just the short version of a real one, 4570.
It's very similar to a 45, but a 4570 has a necked cartridge, right?
No.
No?
Straight wall. So there's a lot of advantages and disadvantages. Let me just talk real quick, guys. I want to just talk about a little bit about the background of the round so you guys kind of have some basis for it. Again, it was the idea of the 450 Bushmaster originally came from the gun writer Jeff Cooper. He was looking for something to be a more powerful version of the 5.56 round, okay? Looking for a larger bore, 44 caliber greater cartridge, and a semi-automatic rifle to provide a one-shot kill at 250 yards on big game animals. That was kind of the challenge he put out there. Well, then there's this guy by the name of, it's either Tim Legendra or Tim Legendra, I think is what it is, of Lamag Firearms. He got together with Hornaday, and he was working on a round called the 45 Professional. And again, you guys can if I'm misquoting this, just correct me, please. And got together with Hornaday, and they decided on changing one of the bullets a little bit, changing it a little bit so it would use a currently existing Hornaday bullet, right? And then eventually they licensed out that round to Bushmaster to call it the 450 Bushmaster. Now, Tony, the parent case is a 284 Winchester. If that kind of helps you for the reloading knowledge.
I know that.
Okay.
Joke.
How far off is that, Tony, from 4570, the parent case?
Good inch.
Okay. Okay. I don't know. I thought maybe it was more similar. I wasn't 100% sure. I didn't know. You know. Yeah.
The thing with the 450 Bushmasters, it generally has to use a handgun bullet.
Yeah. Well, okay. Go ahead.
452, 451. No, they're not direct comparison worthy, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah. Ballistics on the 450 Bushmaster, guys. 250 grain SST tip bullet will go 2,214 feet per second, and it'll have 2,722 foot-pounds of energy. At 250 yards, I think it has about a 3.4 inch drop, if I'm not mistaken, if you zero it at 100. A little bit about what's neat about the 450 Bushmaster. If you're an AR-15 person, you can use a lot of what you have sitting around the house to use that firearm. The magazines are you really got to do your research on the magazines. There are 450 Bushmaster specific magazines that will work in your AR-15 lower. You can also get single stack followers for GI mags, but sometimes those mags need a little bit of a modification. I can show some pictures off here in a little bit. Sometimes you have to cut a lip in the front of your magazine so that round will feed properly. I don't know if this is true or not, and Dusty, you can chime in on this here in a sec. PMags apparently don't work without more modification than just a single stack follower. And here's the deal, though. If you have an AR-15 mag, apparently your 10-round AR-15 mag will give you 5 rounds. 20-round AR-15 magazine gives you 9 rounds, and a 30-rounder will give you 13. So if you're in a magazine-restricted state, but you still can use semi-automatic firearms for hunting, or varmint hunting and so on, the 450 Bushmaster is going to be the one for you. I'll talk about the guns that are out there, just kind of a little bit of a selection of the firearms you can use to choose it. But it is a very, very potent round. I mean, I could see that definitely. And the fact that if you've already got the AR-15 stuff sitting around, you can get yourself an upper, or you can get yourself a bolt action, and you can do a lot. So, Dusty, go ahead and fill us in on this. What do we need to know? And you'll need to unmute yourself, bud. Nope. Dusty, if you can hear us, go ahead. There you go, bud.
Okay.
All right, go ahead, man.
Right
Yeah,
back?
yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Go ahead.
I was trying to show some pictures there. I don't know if you guys could see that I was scanning on my avatar there.
Oh no. Okay, I was reading the text off of what I had saved from earlier from the information. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. But from what I've shot mine, I mean, it's dead accurate at 100 yards. You can keep a group the size of a quarter if you want to with it. I'm not afraid to take a 200-yard shot with it and be just as accurate.
Mm.
Now, I haven't experimented any further than that with it.
Okay.
Here in Michigan hunting, very seldom do you get a shot that far. So,
yeah,
most of the deer I've shot has probably been at 50 or 60 yards.
Okay.
So.
What is do you have a Wyndham that you're using there, or what is your rifle that you're using? I
have an AR that I built. It's a
Oh, okay.
I built it on an AR frame.
Did you buy a pre-assembled upper then, or what?
Huh?
Did you buy a pre-assembled upper with it? You did the upper yourself also?
No, with building. Sorry, go ahead.
I bought the barrel.
Okay,
and I put the upper together also.
With buying the barrel, do you need a new bolt face for your bolt, or does it use the standard AR-15 bolt? No, like the bolt face, the locking lug.
Same, standard.
Okay, cool.
The only thing that I did is I've experimented with different bolts, or buffer tubes, not bolts, buffer tubes. But for the most part, the stock original, stock buffer tube works fine with it too.
All right, because I was thinking about building a 50 Beowulf upper, and the what is it? The 450 Bushmaster was suggested to me, so I was looking into that. See, I have completely different requirements for a big bore, basically a big bore rifle. I'm a target shooter. I love shooting long range, so lobbing heavy bullets at like 300 yards, it appeals to me. So, but the only thing that was putting me off from the 450 Bushmaster is I don't think anybody makes a full metal jacket, just like a straight full metal jacket for it.
No, the only ammo that is made for it is made by Hornady. Hornady has they have that locked in, to be honest.
Does Remington make ammunition for it too? That's what I found online, but I didn't get a chance to research ammo or ammo prices, so I was kind of curious what
Remington
you could say.
hired Hornady to make that. After they bought out Bushmaster, they basically hired Hornady to build this ammo for it.
Okay. So what are we talking about for price per round, just entry level? What are you looking at? We're looking at $1.25 a round, $1 a round. What less than that? 75 cents? I'm just going to vary depending on what kind of bullet you go with and what
typically,
you go custom versus
a box of 20 of them usually is right around $20.
Oh, okay.
About $1 a round.
Okay. Which that's par for the course for a lot of your hunting ammunition that you're going to find. I mean, that's about what I was paying for. I think I was paying maybe $1.25 for a nice soft point 30-06 round for Winchester, PowerPoint or Silver Point or whatever it's called. So it's not like it's that much more. It's not like you're paying $2 or $3 a round for it or anything like that.
And right now, the brass for it is very expensive to buy. Components to make your own, which I have dies. I am going to start making my own, but the brass is very expensive. So I went out and bought a couple hundred loaded rounds, and I'm using those, and then I will start reloading.
Is that Starline Brass? Is that the company that you buy the brass from? Is that who you get it from? Or
I haven't bought any.
Oh, okay.
brass. I've been buying factory loads from Hornady and shooting them.
Okay.
I take it that thing doesn't have bolt breaking issues like the 25-45 sharps round.
Oh, and create your own brass. Yeah, that's possible too.
Yeah. I'm showing off a couple pictures of it. This is what it looks like in the magazine while you guys are talking. So see how it loads up in a and I, like I said, with the P mags. Now talk about the magazines for a minute, Dusty. What are you using for magazines in that gun? Are you using like a special 450 Bushmaster mag? Or are you using a modified AR-15 mag? What are you running with right now?
No, it's actual 450 Bushmaster mag.
Okay.
And one of the requirements for my state for hunting with it is it has to be a 5-round mag.
Yeah, yeah.
And only carry 5 rounds.
So it can be the 10 modified so that it only holds 5 when you're actually out in the field. Can you do that? You can use the 10.
Yes,
okay,
you could do that. But
so yeah.
But you can only have 5 rounds and be hunting with it.
Could you have one in the chamber?
5+1, right?
Yeah, I guess you could chamber one, which I do that with my shotgun too. So yeah. Yeah, they consider that legal.
Usually 6 is the max, but so AWAG, we were talking about this. You could technically use a 30-round PMag unmodified AWAG in a whatever you go with that would take that round, and then it would, the max capacity on a 30-round AR-15 mag with 450 Bushmaster is 13, if I'm not mistaken, 12 or 13. So you wouldn't have to worry about getting a pin mag or spending any kind of money or anything like that.
Yeah, but I'd have to like laser engrave the magazine to say
yes.
450 Bushmaster, because you put over with a 30-round magazine, you're done like dinner.
Yeah.
Now, do those have a tendency to break bolts like the other high pressure 25-45 sharps?
I don't know. I guess I haven't heard. In all the reviews I read on the guns, I saw no complaints at all. So,
and I don't see why they would. They have the recoil of one is probably less than a 20 gauge shotgun. So I can't see why they would bust a bolt.
Just as a comparison, real quick, guys. Squib, what is this that we're looking at here? This is the 450 Bushmaster compared to the picture that you sent me. I'm doing a screenshot.
Government. Sean Connery sent me that, so just wanted to share it with everybody. Thanks, Sean.
One of the reasons why you have to watch out for the magazines, this is a good picture. You probably can't tell in this photo, but apparently it tapers down. It kind of necks itself down towards the rim. It's actually narrower at the rim than it is towards the end of the round itself, where the bullet goes into the case. And that can cause some feeding issues. So when I'm reading reviews on these guns online, you got to be very it's very magazine picky. I would say get yourself a 450 Bushmaster specific mag. They're about between $26 and $36 is what I found last night when I was doing my research on the gear. Because if you just try to use a modified, P mag or modified GI mag with a single stack follower, you can run into issues where it can start to the rounds can start to push up prematurely or push down because they don't have equal pressure going across the case. You can run into some issues. So yeah, Dusty's doing it the right way by running a 450 Bushmaster specific round. So
you can certainly tell that that's a Pondery picture.
Oh, why is that?
Nickel brass.
Nickel brass? Is that all he uses? Is because of the high humidity where he's at, or what?
Nickel brass and fancy green powder coated bullet in the case.
Hey, he's all about the frou-frou, man. He's all about the frou-frou. Look, somebody's got to keep these companies in business, right?
I mean, the guy's got the red pill and the blue pill, so
glitter infused.
It's all about color coding.
That's awesome, man. And it is a good round. So what about the actual shooting experience, Dusty? What would you say the recoil of it? What does it feel like in that AR that you got, that AR pattern rifle you're using?
Well, that's why I said a few minutes ago. To me, it's less than a 20 gauge shotgun shooting a slug.
Okay.
So, an AR shoots pretty fast, and you can empty a mag real quick if you want to. And when you're shooting at a deer, there isn't any recoil.
Okay. Oh, and I think that'd be a perfect round for boar hunting. If you want that one shot drop for intense, on the ground feral hog hunting.
That's the other thing that it was originally designed for, was boar hunting.
Okay.
And, then the Michigan laws came around and we were able to use them here for deer hunting. And that's like Ruger. A couple gun shops a few miles north of me petitioned Ruger to build them a 450 Bushmaster. And they built them 200 of them. The gun shop sold that 200 within a day's time. So they ordered another 200 from Ruger. And, Ruger was specially making them for this gun shop only in Michigan. Okay. They sold those. And then Ruger decided, well, you know what? Maybe we ought to just manufacture that gun. So a year or so later, they came out and put that gun on the market then.
Yeah.
But that gun the Ruger was originally made for a gun shop. Well, actually, it's up close to Squibb there. I can't even think of the name of it.
No, I think it's further north.
Okay.
I think it's on this side of the state, but it's further north. But yeah, I heard about that too. I think it was actually on a radio show around here a couple of years ago when it happened.
Yeah. But that dealer would sell them out as fast as he could get them.
Well, and for certain restricted states, that is an awesome way to be able to keep using. I mean, to me, it really fits so many different areas for people with what it can do. It gives you the ability to still use that semi-automatic firearm or not have to lose that AR-15 compatibility. I mean, it's just all across the board. I really like the appeal of, the 458 SOCOM, the 50 Beowulf, the 450 Bushmaster. I just think it's really neat that these rounds have really taken off and the industry is supporting it too. I mean, that's the big thing. Sean was talking about that little green tip bullet a second ago. He says, yo, that green thing is a Remington AccuCore bullet as factory made. So there we go. So he's not casting and making his own little glitter infused polymer tip bullets or anything like that.
Scientist.
Oh, that's those AccuTip bullets. Those things aren't worth crap.
Oh, them's fighting words.
Sean,
if you want to come in and debate that with him, I'll send you a link. Now, remember, every gun's going to shoot it different. I mean, I've got some ammo that doesn't run well through my 30-30 and other ammo that does, but other guys might have better results with it. So, yeah.
They put that in a 12-gauge slug for deer hunting also, and I tried shooting those through my slug gun, and they would never be accurate.
Now, Adam Brock is chiming in. He said Iowa just legalized it, just brought the Ruger AR and he just bought the Ruger AR and 450. So that's cool because I know they were a slug gun specific state, I think, for deer hunting for the longest time.
Yes, and that's the same with Michigan here. We have a line, it's shortly north of, or a little ways north of Squibb, and anything south of that line is a shotgun area. Northern Michigan, you can use rifles.
Yeah. Blue Seal's got a comment here, guys.
Everything is further north for you because you're so far south. The line's actually about 2 hours north of me. If you look at a map of Michigan, if you look at US 10, it's about halfway up the Lower Peninsula and cuts across the state from east to west. Pretty much everything north of there, you can use bottleneck cartridges. Isn't there something on the west side of the state, the Lake Michigan side, where you can only use shotgun? You can't even use pistol caliber, or was that included in the pistol caliber deal?
That was included.
Okay.
As far I'm sure, I think it. I don't know. They battled for this on this law for quite a while. Then they brought it in on a trial for 1 year, but it looks like it's going to stay now. We've had it for 4 or 5 years now. So,
my understanding is it has to do with the proximity of homes and stuff, and they don't want a high-powered rifle cartridge that can travel miles potentially going into somebody's house, because even though there's agriculture where you live and the houses are far enough apart that it probably wouldn't be an issue, there are other places where that farm is now a subdivision and everything around it still farms. And I mean, there's all these areas that are built up that people used to hunt in, and it's there for that. I've had some people say, oh, your gun laws in your state are awful because you can't even hunt with bottleneck where you're at, and it's like there's a safety reason for it. I'm not debating it, but it doesn't mean we can't own the guns or take them to the gun range or anything like that. So
most people don't really realize it, but if your bullet crosses your property line to a neighbor, that's considered trespassing.
There
you are responsible for that total length of that bullet. trip of that bullet.
So I think it's great that the manufacturers innovate this stuff to work within the laws and give us options.
Now, let's just talk about the firearms. I did a little research last night. What are some of your options? You know, if you want to get into 450 Bushmaster, if you're interested in it, granted, the state you live in is going to dictate which guns you can buy and which guns you can't buy. Just talking about from the bolt action or rifle arena, just to kind of throw a few models out there and some prices. You can obviously get the Ruger American Ranch and 450 Bushmaster for $403. They got a gun sight, much nicer gun sight scout rifle model, which is 814. Which is a really neat looking rifle, but again, you're going to pay quite a bit for it. There's the Savage Scout, which looks really cool for $616. Now it says that does take Magpul AICS 10-round magazines, and some of these have proprietary magazines, so you can't just use your AR-15 mag, which really drives me nuts. If they're going to make a round that's going to be compatible with an AR-15 magazine, why not make the rifle compatible to the standard of the AR-15? Kind of like my Ruger American Ranch rifle. Instead of 62 by 39, why didn't they just make it to take AK magazines and just be done with it, you know? So again, you got some price variances there between $400, $800, $600. Now, on the low end, and this has really caught my attention, Connecticut Valley Arms makes a Hunter model break open 450 with a 25-inch barrel for $253. And it does take their scope mount on the top of it. I don't know what they call it, the zero something or another scope mount. That would be cool. That could get you into it for, and that's $253. Just pay your transfer fee. You could get into 450 Bushmaster for under a complete rifle for under $300. Now, granted, break action, single shot. You might say, what about follow-up shots? Well, if your gun is zeroed and you hit your deer with the 450 Bushmaster, I don't think it's going to get very far. So to me, I would consider buying something like that. What do you guys think about that? Would you ever consider buying a break action 450 Bushmaster? Or would you just save up and get yourself, say, an American Ranch with the 5-round magazine or 4-round magazine, or say the gun sight model or the Savage? What do you guys think about that?
I would say it's not a problem because that round has a lot of energy to it, and every deer I've ever shot has fell with one round. So a single shot to me would not bother me.
That's cool. I mean, you know, you're good out to 250, 300 yards. Got plenty of, and really, if you know, from a budget perspective, you're only going to do with this break action, you're going to have a little bit slower shots you're going to take on it at the range. You might not shoot your ammo quite as quickly, but I think it would be a nice way to get into it if you want to get into it and not spend a lot of money. That's the way to do it. Now, when you talk semi-auto, we start looking at AR pattern rifles. You can get for around $450 a 450 Bushmaster Radical Firearms upper. I can't recommend it. You might have tried it. You might have had better luck with it. The Radical Firearms, I had a pistol upper that just ran like garbage for me. When you read the reviews on the Radical uppers, there's like 8 reviews on Optics Planet. 4 or 5 of them are not positive. There's a couple models where they didn't even drill out one of the gas ports. Wouldn't function. Now, granted, when you buy the upper, you're going to be using it with a lower. There's a chance that maybe the buffer spring's not going to work with it. So I would say if you're going to do anything, just get the complete rifle and just be done with it. Don't try to skimp on it. ATI does make a 450 Bushmaster Mill Sport model for $573. Wyndham has an AR pistol variant, which looks awesome. That's $906. The barrel might be 10.5 inches, if I'm not mistaken. Franklin Armory makes one called the XO26, which when you look at it, you start freaking out because you're like, oh my God, there's a vertical foregrip on an AR pistol. It's whatever classification it is. It's 26 inches long, so it's not considered a pistol. It's not considered a rifle. It has its own classification to it, so you can put a vertical foregrip on it. But it has like the pistol buffer tube on the back with a little foam pad. That one is $1,769. It does not have the binary trigger. Somebody was talking about that earlier. I think it was Jorge saying it'd be cool if they would make one with a binary trigger. That'd get expensive really quick, and you'd burn through your magazine in like 2 seconds. But yeah, so you've got a lot of options to get into it. Dusty, give us kind of a ballpark figure. Approximately what would a person spend to get what you have? What are we looking at? Are we talking $700, $800, $650? Well, you said yours was a build. So what can you get approximately? What do you have into it?
You don't want to know.
Okay. Well, I mean, would you recommend a person go this ATI route, or maybe, go in with something else? I think somebody had mentioned CMMG makes a mutant variant of it now. I think I saw that on maybe Mr. Guns and Gear channel not too long ago.
No, actually, When I built mine, it wasn't a popular caliber. I think I had $800 in just getting the upper put together.
Okay. Okay.
So,
I don't know if I'd even want to bother going with the semi-auto AR route. It's like what I guess it depends on what you think you want to do with it. You know, if you're for just straight up hunting, I think one of the bolt actions would be more than adequate. That Savage Scout looks really cool. I mean, that, you know, you got your Picatinny rail up on the top. You can put whatever you want on it for optics. And I'm not trying to FUD out here, but, and I'm not going to say I don't see the point behind a semi-auto 450 Bushmaster. I think it's awesome. But I mean, I guess.
Look at it like this.
Yeah, yeah.
If you're familiar with the platform, if you're familiar with that platform,
yeah,
it's going to feel comfortable. I shot Dusty's, and it's an AR. I mean, I realize it's a different caliber and whatnot, but it's an AR. You grip it in the same place you would grip your 5.56 AR. If you're, you know, military like me, you know, an M16 is your you know, for some of us, our first real rifle, and that we're so familiar with, and we're so used to marksmanship training with, and everything else like that. So getting it in a different caliber, even you know, a pistol caliber carbine or 300 blackout or 7.62x39, whatever it is, even if you change some of the operation of the firearm or make it a little bit shorter, a little longer, it still has that base platform, that base design, even the AR-10. So if you're familiar with that, when you pick up one of these things and you sight in, you put it high up in your shoulder and you sight in, it just feels familiar, and I think that's the appeal, at least for me, for something like that, that's the appeal.
Now, Calaveras 32 Specials asking a question. For 450 Bushmaster, would an 18-inch barrel be about right? You know, I mean, the fact that Wyndham makes like a 10.5-inch barrel version, I don't know what the minimum barrel length would be on for 450 Bushmaster for adequate powder burning. You guys have any idea what would be the? I mean, I think all those bolt actions have either a 16 or 18-inch barrel.
It really didn't make any difference. My brother-in-law has one, a short barrel. He has one 16 inches, and he has one with a longer barrel on it, and they shoot exactly the same. Okay, he bought the short one because then he bought that short barrel and he put a suppressor on it. That is one thing. A 450 Bushmaster is a loud gun.
Okay. Yeah, the brake they put on the ranch model, my God, the thing looks like it's like a huge muzzle brake on the end of it, so it must be a stout round, you know.
My reaction after shooting it was laughter. It was just this big muzzle blast and bang, and it kicked a little bit more, but it's totally manageable, and it was just, that was just fun. Thanks, Dusty.
Myself and Fine Ape were discussing ballistics of the 10mm and looking at a chart for that thing. Its peak length barrel was 13 inches. So,
well, I know my brother-in-law has a short barrel and a long barrel, and both guns shoot exactly the same.
Accuracy-wise, I mean, they might chrono a little bit differently. You might have a little bit different velocity from the longer barrel, maybe. I'm just trying to think what experience I have with running shorter barrels on those guns.
I don't even think you'll see much difference on the. I don't know if we've ever shot it through the chrono, but I really doubt that you'll see much difference there either.
Well, okay, you know, that Connecticut Valley Arms one, I said it has a 25-inch barrel, but it's also brake action, so they're measuring the barrel all the way from the back where it breaks. I mean, there's probably 6 or 7 inches of barrel that would be a receiver on a normal gun. That would not be a barrel. So I don't think you're going to have more than, say, 18 inches of barrel coming out of the front of that Connecticut Valley break action rifle if you want to go that route. It's like you're going to have some big honking broomstick hanging off the end of it. So, you know, when I say 25 inches, I mean, it's going to be pretty much comparable to the same length of a bolt action 450 Bushmaster. So, you know, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's a very cool round. I mean, and if you can figure out the magazines, and just if you want to try something different, or you want a nice stout round for a single shot takedown at 250 yards. And again, there's nothing wrong with 30-06 or 308 or anything else, but it's, you know, it's another option that you have. Again, if you're an AR guy, and again, like you said, Squib, if you're familiar with your AR-15 manual of arms, or you've got some AR-15 parts sitting around that you could put on that 450 Bushmaster AR, why not, you know? And you can get into it now for a much better cost than, say, in the past. So I think it's definitely one of those really cool rounds that the people should look into. So anything else on the 450 Bushmaster before we move on? What do you guys think?
Other than you just have to get one and you have to shoot it. You'll love it once you shoot it.
I might order one of those CVAs. I don't know what that mount costs for the scope.
And I've heard a lot of people I know have the CVAs.
Okay.
And they really like that gun.
I mean, I've had a CVA black powder before, and it was a well-built black powder rifle.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, they know how to.
I wouldn't be afraid of the CVA. And I bought a couple years ago. I ended up selling it afterwards, but I bought one of the Ruger Americans and played with it, and it was just as good a shooter as what my AR is.
Okay.
But I decided I didn't need to, and I bought it for my nephew, thinking he was going to use it hunting with me, and then he didn't use it, so I had a chance to sell it, so I sold it. So
I would probably go personally with the CVA. Being I've got the Ruger Ranch in 7.62x39, I don't know if I get much of an advantage at 200 or 250 yards versus going with 450 Bushmaster. Maybe a little bit better takedown power. I don't know. So I'm kind of on the. I don't know if I'd want to go. I mean, and I love the Ruger Ranch rifles. I mean, I might consider picking another one up in that, but I don't know, the CVA, it's just the price is right. It gives you a chance to kind of mess around with it and see if you really like it before you invest in a more expensive platform. I doubt you'd have any trouble selling it. I know there's going to be other people that'd be interested in it that would probably take it off you easily if you didn't want it. Did you have any trouble moving yours out at all?
No.
Your Ruger? No. I mean, I think there's enough demand for it. But yeah.
I bought it at a gun show on a whim. You go to a gun show, you think you got to buy something. So I
you
bought
don't think it. you got to buy something.
I bought it. I brought it home. I played with it. I enjoyed it, and then it was just turning into something that was taking space in my safe. So
yeah. Oh man, good stuff. Good stuff. All right, so we'll kind of move on. We'll shift on over to the last topic here. So I want you guys to think about